Good evening. I will now call the March 11th, 2025 Bermuda Run Town Council meeting to order. As a reminder for everyone to silence your phones. Do want to recognize we have a quorum. We have all members of the council present. We'll start first with the Pledge of Allegiance. If you're able, please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It is the intent of the Town Council to make solemn the proceedings of this meeting and the business brought before the governing board, to offer the opportunity for a reflective moment of silence. Please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. Agenda item number 4, Town of Bermuda Run Code of Ethics Statement. Mr. Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, Council. Pursuant to North Carolina General Statutes 168-86 and 160D-109 and the Town of Bermuda Run Code of Ethics Policy adopted November 9, 2010, and further endorsed on August 9, 2022, I would ask each of you before you adopt the agenda if there is any actual, potential, or perceived conflicts of interest with respect to any matter on the proposed agenda which will come before the Town Council for a vote at this meeting tonight. If so, please speak up and let the Council know at this time before the agenda is adopted. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Agenda item number 5, adoption of the agenda. Council's had an opportunity to review the agenda. Are there any revisions, or do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second. Motion by Mr. Ernst, second by Mr. Tedder. Show of hands. 5-0. Thank you, Council. Agenda item number 6, approval of the February 11th, 2025 Town Council meeting minutes. Council's had an opportunity to review the minutes. Do we have any revisions, or do we have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Show of hands. 5-0. Thank you, Council. I've been informed that no one has signed up for citizens' comments, so we'll move swiftly to agenda item number 8. So tonight we have Ms. Lori Cothe from Davie Medical Center. Nearly everyone in our town and county and beyond is very aware of Davie Medical Center, partner in the town as well as the county. So I'll remind our audience that we do not take questions from the audience, but the council is welcome to ask questions at a point in time when Ms. Cothe chooses to call on the council. But with that, welcome.
It's your show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, good evening, and thank you for inviting us to share some great news about the services we can provide to this community. I'm Dr. Lori Cothe. I'm the Chief Nursing Officer at Davie Medical Center and also the campus administrator. I have with me as well Dr. Matt Klein, who is our immediate past Chief Medical Officer, ED Medical Director, and also the Chief of Staff for the North Carolina Baptist Market of the Unified Medical Staff. So that's us, Lexington, High Point, Wilkes, and then Baptist Medical Center. So thank you for the opportunity. Just wanted to give a little bit of a brief history, and you probably all know this better than I do, of the evolution of Davie Medical Center, starting out in Mocksville in 1956, and then an effort to move it here to Bermuda Run in 2009. And kind of shows the evolution. Chad Brown, who is now the president of Lexington Medical Center and Wilkes Medical Center, was hired and oversaw the development of the emergency department, the outpatient clinics, and then in 2017, our bed tower. When we originally opened that bed tower, we had 26 beds. We have since, just in this past October, opened all 50 beds, and they're all staffed. So we're pretty excited about that, to be able to keep people in the community. And as you can see, as we went through, we continued to go, and I think it was in 2019, 2020, we had our COVID issue, I guess. What are you going to call it? Global pandemic. And then we merged with Atrium Health out of the Greater Charlotte market. That merger continued on, and then in 2023, in January of 2023, we merged with the larger Advocate Health System, which I'll explain to you about in a lot. So it's been a lot of merging, a lot of aligning, a lot of movement, but all really good things to just bring those services to the community. It gives us the opportunity to bring more things here and keep our folks in the community rather than having to travel to other sites for the care that they need. We celebrated our 10th year anniversary just last year, so that was pretty exciting. And then I'll go into this in a little bit. And then also in March of last year, 2024, we became a remote location of North Carolina Baptist Hospital, and I'll explain that in a minute. So, next slide. So what happened was we had 4 different large health systems come together to create Advocate Health, and that is Advocate Health and Aurora Health are in the Midwest, Wisconsin, Illinois, those areas. Atrium Health, which is Greater Charlotte, and Navicent Floyd in Georgia, and then now the Wake market, and then also Wake Forest University School of Medicine, which we're really excited with this. We have a great opportunity because as part of Wake Forest University, we are the only academic medical center in the Advocate Health system. So we are the academic core where the research can happen and some of that tertiary care and things like that. And our patients have the access to that just right down the road. This tells you a little bit about Advocate Health, 3rd largest nonprofit integrated health system in the United States. It's a lot. It's really big. There's been a ton of alignment. It's been really good stuff. We're providing the care in a couple different names. The overall structure is Advocate Health. In the North Carolina and Georgia market, we've chosen to stick with Atrium Health because that is what is known in the community. So we are still branded as Atrium Health. And then here in our local area is Wake Forest Baptist. So we're kind of trying to keep the names local where they are to make sure that the community still has that connection, even as we grow, to know that we're still the same health system and providing that same care. We have, I think it's 67 or 69 hospitals, outpatient clinics, 1,000 care locations, a large residency program, nationally recognized in a lot of service lines you can see here. It is headquartered in Charlotte. Gene Woods, who was the president of and CEO of Atrium Health, is the overall Advocate Health CEO now. So we've kind of maintained that North Carolina connection. And we're committed just to the equitable care. That next slide just kind of shows you the same thing, $5 billion in annual community benefit. You can change it. 6 million unique patients, a lot of revenue, 155,000 teammates, 42,000 nurses, which is huge. It's a huge nursing population, and we have made a significant investment in our nurses. As you all know, post-pandemic, nursing shortages have been a challenge. I am really happy to report that at Davie Medical Center, we are, as of next month, will be external contract free. We will not have any external nursing labor. It's all folks that we have employed, and we have worked really hard to do that. And the way we're able to do that is just by the care we provide. Matt and I's probably mantra that we've said every day for the last several years is what matters most is how we treat our teammates and how we treat our patients. Doesn't matter what else changes in this whole scheme of things. We have to control what we control in the four walls of this hospital. It's how we treat each other and how we treat our community. So we're sticking to that. As I mentioned, in March of '24, we became a remote location, and the simplest way to say that is we've just combined our tax IDs with North Carolina Baptist. So instead of being an independent hospital, we're still independently licensed because we're in a separate county. So we have an independent state license, but we are part of their larger Medicare population and program, and we got some just different things with, you can see here the benefits, increased access to services, improved flexibility for medical residents. Really nice for our patients is if they do need that tertiary care down the road, it's not a discharge and a transfer to another facility. It's just a transfer. It's like, we call it our long hallway. And they can go there for care, and they can come back. When they get the specialty care, we bring them right back to the community if we can, because it's important. If any of you have been out there lately, parking's a little bit of a challenge, in Winston, and it's a confusing big place. So if we can keep our folks here in this community, that's really our goal. Things that did change, the governance of the medical staff, and that's been part of what Dr. Klein's been involved in, is making a unified medical staff. Our accreditation, we used to have independent accreditation surveys. Now they're combined with Baptists. And some signage. You may have seen some of the signage change. There's just a little statement at the bottom that says a facility of North Carolina Baptist Hospital. And the reason that is, this is Dr. Ashley Talbot. She's our Associate Chief Medical Officer. You're good. But the reason that is that's just Medicare rules, that you just have to just tell the public that we are also, you might see a bill or something like that from North Carolina Baptist, and this is why it makes sense, because we're a facility of them. Things that didn't change, the overall name. We will, I can't imagine we'll ever not be Davie Medical Center. Location, identity, and culture, that is exactly what we talked about, how we really, let me just tell you a story. When I came here a couple years ago, one thing I was told by the executive recruiter was the Davie culture is just different. And I thought, oh, come on, I've been a nurse for a really, really long time. How different can it be? From the minute I walked through the door, I felt it. It's just different. People talk to each other. People are pleasant. People help you. We all have our down days and things like that, but the culture is like nothing I've seen in 40 years of nursing. It's a pleasure to come to work. They do enjoy their work. They love what they do. They love taking care of this community. So that's our commitment, is how do we remain that Davie culture. And it's known. I mean, Matt will get into a couple of things on our patient experience in that, but we do get called out pretty frequently out of 67, 69 hospitals, whatever it is today. We still are committing to grow in the community, to grow our services. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And then the community involvement. We do want to still be involved in the community. We do philanthropy type things. We help with Davie Foundation. I'm on their grants committee. So things like that. And then the safety, quality, patient experience that we have always delivered at Davie Medical Center is not going to change. If anything, it's going to continue to get better. So we did change our governing structure. We are under the governance of North Carolina Baptist, but what we thought was really important was to keep a community advisory board. So Rick Cross is the chair of our community advisory board, and we just wanted to be able to keep that pulse of the community, tell us what's happening, tell us what the community needs, tell us where we can help you, and then we're going to tell you where you can help us as well, because there are eyes and ears out in the community. Terry Brawley is on it. The ones with the asterisks are all former governing board members. We were able to maintain everybody that was on our prior governing board and to our community advisory board. Bill Junker, Terry Reniger, and then Jenny Varner. And then you can see our executive team. Our president is Dr. Kathleen Wheatley. She is also the president of North Carolina Baptist. She spends the bulk of her time there, which is why we have a campus administrator at Davie. And she said, Davie, I just have to not screw Davie up, was pretty much what her quote was. We're like, no chance of that. And then myself, Brendan Peterson's our CFO, and then Drs. Talbot and Dr. Klein. And I'm going to throw this over to Dr. Klein to give this part of the presentation.
Dr. Cothey left me the good part, getting to share all the awards that we've had over the years. So again, Matt Klein, I'm an ED physician, ED medical director at Davie Medical Center, and then the past CMO, who's now been taken over by Dr. Talbot. So we've been very fortunate to celebrate a lot of awards and achievement with our teammates over the past several years. Here is just a list of some of those. We have a couple slides that I'll go through and explain it to you. Leapfrog is a nonprofit third party that looks at our scores and our outcomes, patients' experience, quality and safety. And for the past 7 reporting periods, 7 consecutive periods now, we've received an A, which is very unusual. I think one of the few hospitals in our enterprise to receive 7 consecutive A's. Last year, we also received an award for PINC Fortune Top 100 Hospitals. We were ranked number 7 out of 2,600 small community hospitals in the country. So we're happy to receive that award and share it with our teammates. Here locally, in Ignite Davie, we're Employer Choice Award. Money Magazine Best Hospital for 2023. For CMS, Top 22 Patient Recommended Hospital, February of 2020. And also US News High Performing Hospital. The next slide. So another entity that helps review, grade, and rank hospitals, Health Grade. You can see here, Patient Safety Excellence Award 2023 to 24. Outstanding Patient Experience, which Lori alluded to, 2022 to 2024. And America's 100 Best Hospitals for Joint Replacement. When Davie first opened a little over 10 years ago, one of the focuses was our orthopedic program and total joints program, and that's continued to grow. And so you can see here, Best 100 Hospitals, top 5% in the nation, joint replacement, 2021 to 2024, have received numerous awards. And we're also starting to do some spine and complex spine surgery at Davie. So was recognized 2023 to 2024 for spine fusion, and then also treatment of sepsis in 2024. Just some other recognitions. College of American Pathologists, that's our CAP accreditation. This is our laboratory services. Several years ago, we also added a blood bank to our laboratory, so now we have blood products at Davie, so we're able to keep more complex, sicker patients, and that falls under our CAP accreditation. Business, North Carolina Magazine, #1, again, Patient's Pick, another award for total hip, total knee. And CMS 5 stars, which is CMS Medicare Medicaid rating, a 5-star award, which is the highest award you can receive for 6 consecutive periods. And then finally, the Joint Commission Gold Seal of Approval for advanced total hip, total knee, and we've had that for 5 years now. So internally, we've also received some awards within our enterprise. Again, a lot of these are related to patient experience. Top performer, most likely to be recommended surgical services last year. Top performer, most likely to be recommended for the emergency department. And then rising stars, most likely to be recommended for our joint unit. So over the year, we've had a lot of growth, and I think it's remarkable to think about the growth we've had and the standards that we've been able to maintain. So compared to 2023, our surgical volume went up 11% in 2024. When looking at particular types of surgeries, there's been some data that shows safety in patients going home same day for total joints, total hips, total knees. And so we were doing about 16% of those in 2023, and in 2024, about 40% of our total joint patients go home day of surgery, so a big patient satisfier to get out of the hospital. We had our endoscopy procedures. These are colonoscopies and upper GIs. Those increased 8% compared to previous year. Our emergency department has seen significant growth. In 2020, we saw about 15,000 patients. So in 4 years, our volume has doubled. And one of the things we take a lot of pride in, our throughput has not changed. So in 2020, if you came to the ED, it took you about 10, 12 minutes to see a provider. In 2024, we saw twice as many people, about 30,000, and it still takes about 12 minutes to see a provider. And that's something we're very committed to and focusing on. Our transfer rate for all comers to the ED is 5%. Again, Lori talked about things we do, efforts we make to keep people in their community, keep patients where they are. 95% of the patients that come to our ED are discharged or admitted to Davie, with only 5% being transferred. And this has been sustainable through our, we talked about our remote campus status with Baptist Hospital, which makes this easier to move patients between the two campuses. And then also we've expanded some virtual services and round trip where if you need a procedure, we could admit you to Davie and then transfer you to Baptist for that procedure, then back to Davie for the rest of your care. Lori also talked about expanding to our 4 additional beds. We have all 50 beds open now on our inpatient unit, and I think it's worth mentioning for our rolling 12 months, looking at our patient experience scores, we sent out a survey. It says, what's your likelihood to recommend us? And for those that ranked us 9 or 10, top of that survey was 91.7%. So really remarkable work by that group. Lori's going to share some more about the community.
And just the 91.7, we're really proud of this, so I like to tout what our team does and what our patients say about us. Led the entire enterprise of Advocate Health for the entire rolling 12 months last year in patient experience. So you've got hospitals all across the country, and Davie Medical Center was the highest rated. And sometimes that's a little challenging because our number of responses is lower, so you get 1 or 2 bad ones, and then it looks like you're really doing poorly. We didn't. We stayed pretty much at 91 to 92% all last year. So we're really proud of that. We're proud that really the community seems to appreciate what we're doing, and we're serving them the way that we need to. So that's pretty exciting. So part of serving the community is growing and continuing to grow and bringing services out here. So Dr. Klein talked about the round-trip care. We also have a lot of virtual capabilities. We have virtual psychiatric care in the emergency department, virtual neurology, virtual cardiology. So a lot of specialties, if we can care for them in Davie and they don't need a specialized procedure, we can virtually have them see a specialist and then keep them there and perform that treatment at Davie. So that's really exciting. And then the round trip, we just expanded that to cardiology. So if somebody comes in with chest pain, pretty much before they would have to go to Baptist for an intervention or something like that. And now we're able to keep them if they don't need, if they're not having an acute heart attack that really needs to get to a cath lab and get opened up really quickly, we can send them over there for the intervention and come back and recover folks at Davie. So it's really very nice. We just opened in October or December of last year, and this was a great benefit for our remote location, is non-oncology infusions. We opened 4 infusion beds, so iron, blood, Remicade, things like that. Patients don't have to go into Winston-Salem to get that. If they're appropriate, they can stay right here in the community and get that right in that 4-story building. So we are planning on expanding that service over the next couple of years. It's going to take a major renovation of an area. We're trying to figure out where that is, because one thing that we do all the time, I was actually just joking with my facilities folks. I said, I feel like we should have a standing meeting every 3 months to see where we can find more space, because we're looking in closets. Where can we bring services? I've got a lot of land, which I'll talk about in a second. We also have expanded our surgical services. I believe when we started that we had about 3 operating rooms. We are up to 3 operating rooms and 4 minor procedure rooms, which function as full operating rooms as well. So we have 7. They stay pretty full. In our surgical services, I believe we increased our volume last year by about 6%, which was great. So we're continuing to expand those in that orthopedic and neurospine and ophthalmology. We have RISE, which is across the street, that offers some physical therapy services. And then diagnostic services, we've expanded our MRI. We used to be Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, because that's when everybody needs an MRI, right? So we changed that now, so they are there 6 days a week, 7A to 7P. So that not only is able to serve our outpatient population, if our inpatients are coming in a bed on a Friday night, rather than having to stay until Monday to get an MRI, they can get one on Saturday and go home if that's appropriate. We have obtained a second CON for another MRI. I have no idea where that's going. But we have it, and we're looking at 2026. It might be a trailer. We're not sure. And then we've also are putting in a second CT scan, which will, and hopefully that construction, we have to do some construction for that as well, will happen at the end of this year. And that will allow us to do some more advanced cardiac imaging right here in Davie County as well, which will hopefully limit even more people having to go over to Winston-Salem. And then the out partial development is probably a question I get all the time. What are you doing? The answer is I don't know. I think a part of the discussion has been around, you saw all the multiple alignments that we're doing, so the strategy constantly is kind of changing from a market perspective, what makes sense to bring out to Davie County. Our ophthalmology is, we're building an eye center in Winston-Salem, so that may move out. We put more things into that Plaza 1, that tall building. We're not sure what's going to backfill that. Cardiology, everybody wants a little bit of space out here. It's so convenient for patients to park at Davie and it is than trying to go downtown. But we're looking at that strategy is really all I can tell you. I know what I would like out there, but I don't hold the purse strings, so that's a little more challenging. But we're having actually a strategy session on that in April to really talk about what makes sense to move out to Davie County. Definitely infusion services will be expanding. I know that for sure. Other than that, I don't have a good answer for what's going to happen in that out partial. We know we've got this beautiful space. Every time somebody says to me, can you look for space? I'm like, I've got it right here. Could somebody just build me a building? So hopefully more to come on that in the not too distant future. I wanted to just highlight a couple things that we've done in the community. We really tried to stay involved and fit that need when we can. When Hurricane Helene hit, our teammates just got together real quickly on a weekend, so we want to do a drive where we can just bring things and get them out to the community. And we took 6 truckloads just full of supplies to Troutman, actually, which has a Rotarian group that was moving things up into western North Carolina. So 6 truckloads, we were pretty excited for that. This year and every year, we do adopt families for Storehouse for Jesus at Christmas. This past year, we did 35 families, and that's our teammates through their generosity, continuing to buy gifts, buy other things that folks need. We attend different expos, the Davie County Senior Expo. We had a food drive. Some of you might have contributed and come through the parking lot. I believe that was in November, right around Thanksgiving, and you can see there that the amount of money we raised between us and the community was enough for 156,000 meals. And then we've also just won our second Energy Star certification, which I can't honestly tell you what that means, but it means we're doing something about sustainability, and our facilities group has worked really hard on that with just different ways to decrease our energy consumption. And then we do quarterly blood drives at the hospital. We offer flu shots, sports physicals, and we are going to be having an upcoming pharmacy education for the community as well, for people can come in and they can talk to a pharmacist, talk to nurses about their medication. So that'll be coming up this spring. And then we have our tree lighting, which wasn't as big of an event this year because we dropped the ball. But next year it's going to be a big event this year. So, and then this is really exciting for us. This is a part of the connecting to the community, knowing that what your plan is with connecting that community as well. We had a program that was run through Wake Forest, and it was called Challenge 100, Little Ideas, Big Impact. And one of our nurses wanted to do something a little different with that walking trail. You know, we see that every day, the community out there walking in that trail. If we can't put a building out there, can it at least make it useful for the community? And so we have these new signs out there that have QR codes that link to mental health services, Davie County Tourism Board, just different services, aging services and that. And then what's coming soon are going to be color-coded distance markers. So we're trying to explore some different things that we can do to engage the community, what kind of events we can have on that property. Should we do a 5K? Should we do just a healthy walk around? So we're kind of talking about those different things of how we can help connect with the community and the plan that the community has for the infrastructure. We also participate in the community needs assessment with Davie County, and go the next one. It's just a nice picture of our building. And so we do that every 3 years. We are going to be doing it again, I believe, in next year because we're trying to get on a cadence with the rest of Advocate Health. But we have participated. The key focus areas that we identified were mental health, chronic disease, and access to care. Look familiar? I think we all know that that's an issue. So we're currently working on what those action plans are going to look like and what we're going to do to be able to help impact some of that in the community. And similarly, we participate in the Davie County Master Aging Plan, and they're very similar type things, chronic conditions, access to care. We've done a couple things with the Faith Health involvement and with the work of the Davie Foundation. Between the two of us, we have supported and paid for a nurse navigator type of health assessment one to be serving the Coolomee community. So we're pretty excited about that. We're posting for that. You know, anybody that needs a job out in Coolomee, an RN, that'd be great. So really trying to get into those, you know, increasing the participation in health, preventative, doing assessments, getting people into that care before they need to be one of the 30,000 people in Matt's emergency department. So I think that's it. So thank you for having us, for trusting us. What can I answer? Yes. Go.
I'll start. I'm sure there are questions. I have 2 questions. I'll just start with one.
Sure.
First of all, thank you so much. It is an honor to have you all in the neighborhood. And you mentioned the culture. I know when I've been there, even to an outpatient test, I feel like I'm at a 5-star luxury resort in terms of being treated. It is just absolutely amazing. So my first question is related to, you mentioned you don't have any. You've got the nursing staff you need, but are there other recruitment issues, particularly as you're looking to expanding? And does workforce housing tie into that at all in the discussions that you know of?
I'm not sure so much about housing, but I'm going to tell you some. We won't have any nursing contract labor. We do have some in radiology spaces. And we are partnering with Davidson Davie, Mitchell, other folks to do that. And we actually have partnerships, apprenticeships, all those types of things. We have nursing students 5 days a week at the hospital. A lot of times radiology students from all 3, from Forsyth, Mitchell, and Davidson Davie. I haven't heard the housing issue.
Okay.
But definitely in more of the ancillary areas, lab, radiology, those types of things, physical therapy, those are a little harder to recruit. That's, yeah.
Yeah, my second area is going to be about partnerships with students. I know you've got Wake University, but at different levels and things like that, so it sounds like you are working
Yeah, we,
with
like,
students and education
yeah,
partnerships.
we have students on site all the time.
Great.
And then I, myself, and then the other chief nurses in the market all sit on student advisory boards for nursing
Okay.
at all three of the hospital, or all three of the colleges as well. So
Great.
we really try to partner with them because Wake Forest right now does not have an undergraduate nursing program. So those are our feeders. You know, we do apprenticeship programs. We have a really large nurse intern program in the summers where senior nursing students kind of apply and they'll work at one of the 5 hospitals. And I think last year when we did our event, we had, I think, 2 or 3. It's a little bit harder for us because we only have 50 beds and 2 units to speak of to bring a bunch of students in for a long time. But I think we had 3 or 4 last year, but there were probably over 100. Because our goal is how do we keep those people in the community? How do we tell them that Atrium Health, Wake Forest, is the best place to work?
Right.
And by the way, if you really want to go somewhere great, come out to Davie County. It's only across the bridge. You know, it's not that far. So we have done a really focused effort on getting new graduates, but you can't staff an entire hospital with new graduates. You need some experienced people with that as well. But the colleges are a wonderful partner with us.
That's great.
Yeah, and then Jenny is on our advisory board as well, which is really helpful.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Great question.
Just from pure experience for everybody in the audience,
Yes.
on January the 10th, 2024, a little over a year ago, I had a full knee replacement
Okay.
out here. And it was absolutely an outstanding
Ooh,
experience.
I was hoping you were going to say that.
David Pollux was my surgeon. He has since retired.
Yes, yes.
But it was a great experience. I went at 7 in the morning, was home by 4:30 that afternoon. The drugs worked fine.
That's Ashley.
Yeah. They were great. Everything worked fine, but the care, the service was unbelievable. I mean, it was like a 5-star hotel.
That's
It
wonderful.
really was. I wish I could have stayed overnight because the food was so good. But
I
leaving
love to hear
today,
that at a hospital.
and I've heard that from a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any complaints, issues. It was a fabulous experience. So if you got to go have something like that done, that's the place to go.
Thank you, Mr. Ernst. I appreciate that. And, you know, really, at the end of the day, that's why we do it. You know, we can talk about all this other stuff, but if we're not giving this community the services they need and the care they need, it doesn't do any good. It doesn't do any good. So I appreciate that. And I will pass that feedback back to the team.
Best news I heard that day was at 4:30.
Go
and
home.
David Pollux said, "You want to go home?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "I'll sign the papers. You can go."
Yeah, that whole process and I'm sure from your clinic visit all the way through is pretty seamless. That's why it's nice that we can focus on that because then we're really good at it.
And I had my PT all out here too.
Did you? Good.
Mark was fabulous.
Good.
So everything went, I had no complaints.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I put you on a billboard.
Question about your pharmacy.
Yes.
Do you have numbers on how many in-house patients or external patients from the community use your pharmacy?
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry. I do not.
You don't?
No, I don't.
I'll tell you, I think that is one of the best-kept secrets in all of Davie County. The pharmacy is amazing, the staff, the pharmacists, the technicians that greet you when you come in. It is just spot on. And I was curious to know if you were marketing that to the community at large.
Yeah, I don't believe that we market that very well, but I appreciate that. But I'm going to tell you, as I pass through there every day, I would say probably more often than not, it's people in the community, not inpatients. I mean, it's very convenient to come down from your clinic appointment. We do, when we have patients being discharged, take their meds that they need to go home with over to the inpatient unit if we can, if the pharmacy is still open. We call it our Meds to Beds program because sometimes that's a limiter when people leave.
Right.
That they leave late in the day, they can't get their pain medication or whatever. We try to send people home with that, but it is a great thing. I'd love a drive-through. I'm working on
Yes,
that.
that would be terrific.
But no, I don't have those numbers. I apologize. I could certainly supplement that
No,
for
I
you.
was just curious because it is, it's so efficient.
It is. And we just added 15-minute parking. So you don't have to like park way out. If you go right where the handicap spaces are, there's 15-minute parking there for our pharmacy clients.
That's terrific, yeah.
Yeah, I would add, I give Matt a shout out. I had the unfortunate opportunity of a cardiac event a year ago myself, and the emergency room was absolutely outstanding. It turned out to be nothing, but the service was just like Mike said, it was just unbelievable. I mean, I got my wish to ride down I-40 in an ambulance, which I always wanted to do, so
Glad
I
we
got
could
that
help.
taken care of, got it off the bucket list, but the care was just amazing. So is there anything we can do for you guys?
I appreciate that. I think really just keep us connected. If you're hearing things, if there's something else that you want me to get up for people in strategy, if we need to really think about this service, again, we're looking at a market footprint. And anything that you hear, that's what we ask from our community advisory board too. Tell us, get your ear to the ground. Tell us what we can do to better serve this community, because that's why we're here. This community has supported Davie Medical Center, supported Moxville the entire time. So we appreciate that, and we want to just make sure that you continue to get that amazing care that all of you have had. And I don't know if you told people about that emergency room visit, because people drive past like 6 other ERs to come see Matt. They're like,
There's a lot of people,
Virginia.
a lot of people I know in town that work with my company that drive out here that really, it used to be Baptist, and then it was go to Kernersville, now it's come to Davie.
Yeah, we've seen that, and we appreciate that, so, but I appreciate that. Yeah,
It
if
was
you're just
great.
hearing anything, please, I can send out to Mike my contact information, always available, I'm here all the time. So just appreciate your feedback, your time, and just continuing to support us. And hopefully we'll do something fun community-wise, days or something
Good.
this summer, when it's not too hot. This Ohio girl's still struggling with this heat a little bit. Okay.
I had
I'm
just,
sorry, Mike.
I know, that's okay. I know that there were discussions that have been had regarding an education facility-ish kind of thing happening. I know it's sort of been talked about in the community. Is there anything you can share on that front relative to sort of a strategic plan, vision around that?
Yes, we have been in conversations with Davidson Davie for quite a while on that. We're getting close. We're hoping to be able to put a building on our site there for some education. I think they're working through some regulatory things and some funding before they want to really announce that. But we're hoping that we can make that happen.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
I have a question, yeah. How many residents do you have come out there on a weekly basis?
Oh, I'm going to throw that to you.
It probably varies by the department. In the emergency department, we have upper levels that rotate with us, only upper levels in both emergency medicine and family medicine. And I know in anesthesia, there's some as well.
Yeah, surgery and anesthesia, we have senior residents only, so upper-level residents. There's learners with every service line in the operating room, and there's 1 to 2 anesthesia learners every day. Again, just the more experienced. We want people to have the basic skills at a place that's less efficient, and then come out and really get the reps and learn the efficiency of a private practice type style of operating out at Davie. There's fellows in every service line, so.
And in the.
Oh, there are,
More
okay.
residents, yeah.
Yeah.
Going through training, working at a tertiary care center is very different from what we do at Davie. And so it also exposes them to this different environment that may appeal to them when they complete their training and helps with recruitment and that sort of thing.
And we have residents and fellows in the clinics as well with a lot of the service lines. We don't really have them very often on the inpatient areas unless they're on the surgical unit and following a patient.
Great. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much.
you.
Thank you for what you do. Thank you for what you do for our community and the county and even beyond our county. It is wonderful to have you a partner in our community, and thank you for investing in our community and growing in our community. So with that, thank you again for
Thank you
tonight.
for the
Very
opportunity.
much.
It's our pleasure.
All right, moving on to action item number 9, proposed action items. Resolution R2025-003, dissolve Bermuda Run Vision Committee and create Christmas in Bermuda Run Committee. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Meadwell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This resolution that you have for you tonight, this is the next step in our action plan to bring community events under the umbrella of the town of Bermuda Run, where these events are fully funded by the town. So before you is the resolution, as it states, is to, one, to dissolve the current Bermuda Run Vision Committee and replace it with a new committee called the Christmas in Bermuda Run Committee. So there's a next step in which committee members will be appointed to this. There's another budget amendment that will need to be done as well as a result of the resolution that was adopted last month. The Community Foundation Board is meeting next week, if I'm not mistaken, to take this action up. So this is all following our action plan that we set in motion to fully bring this in under the umbrella of the town, the organization itself. So.
Thank you. Any questions, comments from council? Well, I will add that I know that the number of years and the impact that the the Bermuda Run Vision Committee has performed and engaged for the town, and I'm excited that this ultimately transitions to one of the signature events, and Councilmember Schaefer wrote an eloquent email to those of us on the part of the council and leadership team, just describing the wonderful work that this group of folks has done over the years and the impact that Christmas in Bermuda Run has made, not just for the town of Bermuda Run, but much like Davie Medical Center, the impact, the number of communities and areas that are impacted by that, that work doesn't happen without these dedicated volunteers as part of that. And so it's my hope that this transition to this new committee will bring with it the same level of energy and impact and enthusiasm that we saw before. If there are no questions, no comments, I'll entertain a motion from council.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Tedder, second by Mr. Ernst. Those approve? 5-0. Thank you, council. Action item 9B, budget amendment BA-24-2025-001. Mr. Meadwell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As we discussed at our last meeting, the staff has identified that within our actual fiscal year budget, we did not have line items or account items for training for town council. So as we discussed last month, what this budget amendment will do will establish those funds. As we have seen that several of you have taken advantage of these learning abilities or possibilities in going to conferences and things like that. So we needed to establish that some way to account for that in our budget, and this is what this budget amendment does, sir.
Thank you. Questions for Mr. Meadwell? Not, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion by Mills, second by Schaefer. Show of hands approval. 5-0. Thank you, council. Agenda item number 10, town manager report comments.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I'll be brief. Just will let you know that this work that is occurring as part of the Blue Heron Trail Phase 2, which is the connection of the Blue Heron Trail going north to the I-40 pedestrian bridge. That work is moving along very nicely. I know the mayor had sent some pictures of some work that occurred on the north side. Some paving had been done at the connection of the south side bridge. Speed table has been put in. the signage for the trail and the trailheads, we're hoping to get those in probably by the end of the week. So the end is soonly near. So I think outside of the signage, there's some striping that needs to be done, and we're really hoping that the weather will cooperate, wind, to be able to accommodate that. So the end is in sight, and we're really looking excited, and the mayor and I have kind of tossed around some dates to do the ribbon cutting on this. So
I do want to add that if you're on Twins Way and you see cones and you're used to driving on Twins Way at a speed you shouldn't be driving, I'm calling myself out. Speed tables will not only calm traffic, but they can launch you if you're not going at an appropriate speed. Some of us up here can attest to that as of 10 o'clock this morning. So I'm looking forward to the striping on the speed table and the Dukes of Hazzard event that apparently my pickup truck had this morning. So thank you for that. So please, back to you.
that's all.
Yes, you have? Okay, great.
A confession, that was very good.
It was a shocking moment, I'll put it that way. So speed tables work. Again, thanks to our Davie Medical team, outstanding. As they described what they do and how they do it, what a special opportunity this town has to have such a wonderful facility and a growing facility in our town. So I won't belabor the point, but I very much appreciate all that they do. Thanks to everyone who attended tonight. This morning I had the honor of speaking at the opening ceremony of the Davie County Senior Games. It was held over at Rise. They'll have several hundred seniors participating in that event. By the way, that's their 32nd year. Hard for me to imagine that they've been doing that for 32 years. I recognized Carrie Miller, who works for Senior Services, and she leads that program. What a rock star. She is absolutely amazing, pulling this off every year. And this is multiple months of preparation, multiple months of work. So just very proud to be a part of that this morning. Bermuda Village will be hosting the shuffleboard tournament. Councilmember Nelson and I had the unique opportunity last year as first-timers to do scoring for shuffleboard. Let me caution you that you really shouldn't go to a Senior Games event as a volunteer and volunteer to keep score if you don't know how to keep score. You will get incredible feedback from those who are playing to teach you immediately that you scored them wrong. So it was a learning opportunity for both of us.
Kitchens, I mean, who knew?
Yeah, well, who knew what a kitchen was? But there's a kitchen in shuffleboard.
Yeah.
There you go. So you learn something every day. But very proud to be a part of that program. There are still openings, so if you were contemplating signing up for Senior Games, you may not get a T-shirt, but certainly reach out to Senior Services and Carrie Miller. They have everything from shuffleboard to bocce ball to basketball to pickleball to any form of sports you can imagine. So encourage you to reach out to them as well. Speaking of Senior Services, next month I've invited the new manager of Senior Services, Brett Harp. Met him this morning. He will be coming to our next town council meeting to give an update on Senior Services. So looking forward to his presentation. He may bring some other staff members as well. So please come back and join us for that as well. I also want to announce that the town was notified that the sheriff office has hired a new community officer for our town. He will be replacing Mike Foster, who is currently partnering with him in this education. That new officer's name is Josh Whitlock. We hope to have Josh join us in April's town council meeting to introduce him, maybe bring him up and have him say a few words about his background. But I know this community, and even beyond this community, very much appreciates having a community officer. So looking forward to meeting Josh and having him a part of our community and providing that important service that they and the whole Davie County Sheriff's Office and Sheriff Hartman provide to all of us. So with that, I'll turn it over to council for any closing comments.
Only thing for me, when we get the can we get the contact for Dr. Coath and Matt?
The Davie
Yeah,
representative, yeah, we'll make sure we do that.
Thank
Yep. Anything else? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Show of hands.
5-0.
Thank you, council. Thank you, everyone. We are adjourned.